Oh gosh. Welcome everybody to the Fanspeak Network and another episode of the NFL Betting Card Live. And we have so much to talk about, even though we are all like in a Christmas holiday hangover, best ball hangover. I'm dealing with the aftermath of my quarterback being benched. So much to talk about, and so much to talk about for the Week 17 NFL slate. So we're going to get right into it. Of course, I'm joined each and every Thursday. We're a little earlier this week with the holiday schedule, but I'm joined each and every Thursday with Astaire, with Tyler Hicks, and I am lucky enough to break down our favorite bets on the NFL betting card, and we will do just that. So let me say hi to these guys. Hadn't got to talk to them over the holiday spread. How was your holiday week? How are you recovering through? I don't even know what day it is, basically, but how are you doing? And what do you think about Week 17?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here. We got some good matchups on the board. We haven't dialed in our plays yet, so we're definitely going to want to hear what you have to say. Okay. And then I think we're going to find some winners.
Well, that's what I like to hear. Did you have a good holiday?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, good. Well. Good.
I got a picture of my cat on a t-shirt.
Okay, you got a picture of your cat on a t-shirt. That's a great gift. Yes, all right. I love it. I love it. That's Sasha. I just yeah.
No, this is Penko, named after the great Jelena Ostapenko, the Latvian legend.
Okay. I got to get the names right here. All right, Tyler, how was your Christmas? How are you doing? Are you in a holiday haze, and are you ready for Week 17?
Yeah, I'm ready for Week 17. I think we're gonna have some good picks here. Me and Spread really haven't talked about it either. So first look for us. We got some playoff implications that are coming up. So looks like playoffs are starting to feel their way out. But the bottom of the AFC, it's still a log jam, and there's about 6 teams that can still slide into that last spot.
Isn't that wild?
It's gonna be a fun one down the stretch.
I was gonna say so much information. After the 3 games on Christmas, you've got some teams like Denver just have to throw in the towel. You got the quarterbacks being benched. You have all these playoff implications starting tonight. Which is so wild with the Browns, and so actually I think cool. There is so much to talk about, and yes, because these holiday week, I'm kind of ready to get back to just a normal regular schedule. But I am definitely behind, and it'll be fun to just talk it through raw with you guys. And then I'm going to be fully diving into research, to tomorrow, and then just, for Sunday. But, be sure you're going to get everything we talk about today. It'll be up on the NFL betting card tonight or this afternoon for the Thursday night slate, and then any early picks. And then we will add to it for Sunday, of course, their picks. And then anything we have for the props, the touchdowns, all that stuff. Hit 2 parlays last week on the NFL betting card. We hit 2 lotto parlays, actually. So I need to, still have to adjust that. But that was kind of fun. A touchdown parlay and a Baker and Flacco yardage and passing touchdown parlay. So yeah, we'll keep those coming, but we'll also keep the props anytime touchdown. And of course, these guys picks, and check out their NFL treasure map on fanspeak.com. So anyways, what do you want to do? Some quarterback talk first? Do you want to torture me first?
Yeah, we got to talk about everything. And I know normally go straight into the picks, but let's talk about the games first, since Tyler and I haven't talked to them. Then we can give out the officials. Quarterback talk. I mean, we'll start with you, the quick news, but I don't really think it's as bad as you think. So we're talking about Sam Howell being benched for Jacoby Brissett. What's up?
I think it's a waste of time.
What is a waste of time?
Putting Jacoby Brissett in. He's a backup.
Right. That's why I
run Howell the rest of the year and see if you got your guy.
Yeah,
that's why they made the decision. They don't have their guy. They're drafting the quarterback, and this is the signal to the fan base that that's what's happening.
But here's the thing. But it's not the fan base's decision. Who cares what the fan base thinks? It's the next coach's decision. If Rivera thinks he's not keeping his job, there's going to be a new GM and a new coach, and here's the thing, they're going to be the ones to make a decision on how. Who knows? In my wildest dreams, maybe Ben Johnson is hired and he says, "How's my guy? I can make this guy work." I mean, look, nobody wanted Tua Tagovailoa, and Mike McDaniel said, "Nope, I can make him, my guy." Made him his guy and came right in. I'm not comparing Tua to Sam Howell. Let me be clear, but I'm just giving an example that it's the next coach's regime's decision, not this regime, on if Sam Howell's the guy or not. I do want to go.
Okay, and my counter for that would be, now you'll have a chance to actually use Sam Howell if he is your guy, because he's not going to get rocked behind this terrible offensive line.
I have gone, yeah.
It's not like they got rid of him. It's right. Just, to me, it's a signal they're going to draft a quarterback. So
I don't want to.
Jaden Daniels, welcome to Washington.
I don't want to come. I don't want Jaden McDaniels. I need to fix the team. Do we want another Bryce Young situation where it's just we've got a great college quarterback and we've got a shitty team around him? We've got no offensive.
I think you guys are so much better than the Panthers.
Offensive line. Our offensive line is god awful. Our defense is horrible. Do we have weapons? Yes, we have weapons. I believe in our running back and receiver. Tight end, no. I mean, like we don't like so. I'd say everything outside of defensive linemen, receivers, and running back. Those are the things that you could say we're good at as far as like building around a quarterback. You need to put an offensive line in place and a defense, or you can't like put a rookie to try to shoot out with a bad defense. You can't put a rookie behind a horrible offensive line. And that's what you'd be doing in this. And so that's why I wanted to. And
my counter there is offensive line play is the worst it's been in the last 100 years.
I agree with you.
So I would say there's 25 teams that need to improve their offensive line. I mean, go to any Reddit sub after a game, after any loss, the offensive line didn't block. They didn't do their job. I mean, I even saw Niners fans criticizing their offensive line, and it's like,
wow. And Trent Williams
got Tyler for being the spoiled rich kid. I mean, they're not going to be perfect every week.
Right.
I think it'll be the right move. You'll never go wrong getting that position right. It changes everything. So I think you got to roll the dice and just draft him. It'll probably be Jaden Daniels. Am I right? I mean, you guys probably.
I think 3's too high for that. I mean, that's a conversation for my brother, not me. But I think 3's way too high for him.
I don't think you can pen down a quarterback at 3 yet. It could be, and if that group of guys after the first 2 it's just going to be team preference. Like Washington could fall in love with Bo Nix, which could be a terrible thing. They could fall in love with Penix.
Right.
They could fall in love with Ewers if he comes out. Like they could fall in love with any of these guys.
That's my point is if quarterback goes 1-2, 3's too high for any of those guys.
I think you just get the runoff. Like it's like, well, if we don't take him here, he's not going to be there at like say 10. So you got to kind of go get him.
And the other thing is, if you think 3 is too high, most GMs will probably think 3 is too high, which means no one's probably going to trade up to draft Daniels at 3 either.
If Chicago doesn't come out and say Fields is their guy, and they're keeping
which they're not, he's getting traded.
I agree, but if they for some reason come out and say that, this is the only way I wouldn't bet this. But I honestly think you could see a runoff of quarterbacks and linemen before Marvin Harrison comes off the board.
Which is wild to think about.
Just because teams are like, if we don't take him now and we try and trade back, he's not going to be there. So take him now. And I could see Harrison falling to say 6 or 7.
That's conversely, Harrison could also go
standing there waiting.
And you could end up with Drake May on Washington.
Exactly, yes.
What if Arizona says, we got Kyler? Let's give him, this guy's going to be the next Justin Jefferson, the next Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We already got Kyler. Let's not screw around. And maybe, they trade back one with you guys and you guys move up one spot, give up a second rounder next year. And now you're sitting on Drake May and Arizona can get MHJ at number 3.
I'd have to ask Steve the trade up value just to even move up.
You also got to think like
at 2 to 3, 3 to 2.
I mean,
I'll bet you a second rounder would get that done.
I don't have like the exact comparisons here, but a lot of people, the talk is that Washington receiver that Penix has been thrown to isn't much farther behind Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think he is.
They're saying the kid at LSU is pretty damn good too. So it's like
neighbors. Yeah.
If a team needs a wide receiver and they also need linemen, you get the all-pro lineman first round. And if you think Marvin Harrison Jr. is like, he's elite, but he's not light years ahead of these other guys, and you can get that guy in the second round or in the late first.
All 3 of the receivers you mentioned are going first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, but say if a Washington, if they want their lineman first, and they come back around, say in the teens, trade up, come get their wide receiver instead of spending the top 10 pick on the wide receiver.
Yeah, I could see that because I don't think Favors or I can't pronounce his name. The Washington kid will go.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, no, he's good. I know who you're
14 or higher.
We'll have a lot of good draft conversations for sure. I mean, we'll have 3 or 4 months of good draft conversations because obviously you can go to On the Clock and simulate the 2024 NFL draft right now. You can simulate the whole offseason and get Ultimate GM for $19.95 and get no ads on Fantasy. But we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. Steve will be constantly updating the big board. big boards. Obviously, we're constantly updating the draft order and team needs and all that good stuff. But yeah, lots of good conversations. Have my counter to you spread about like we'll just draft a quarterback at moving up to 2 or at 3 is, well, what if we use the Houston blueprint and say, you know what, who's that? Davis Mills. They were like, you know what, we don't have a team in place. Let's put a really good team in place, stockpile picks, and we'll go get a quarterback next year and just see what plays out with Davis Mills. If he's bad, then we'll have a really high pick to go get him. If he's good, then we'll build around him. I'd rather much do that. Again, we have done,
and that's fair too. If you,
yeah,
I don't know the name of the offensive lineman, but supposedly he's an absolute stud.
But they did it the year before. They got a lot of picks the year before, and then they had 3, and then we're able. And then obviously it worked out with getting the right guy in Stroud, and that's important too. But I would just rather. I think Hal put enough. Yeah, the last 4 weeks have been god awful. And to Tyler's point, he called this weeks ago. Maybe he's just got the yips, and just seeing ghosts behind the offensive line. It's been so bad. So, I don't know. I'm just saying that. It'll be interesting to see what a new coaching regime decides to do. But I want to build a team first, and I'd be fine just seeing, what a new coach does with Hal. And if it's bad, then let's go get our quarterback, the next guy. And then you have a draft class and a free agency class this year, because you have money and picks, which is why the coaching position is very desirable this year. Then you've built a solid foundation, which
that's fair. I mean, I wouldn't be, if you guys draft that tackle to start. That's fine.
Yeah. So that's where I stand on it. I'm sad about that.
Especially if you're at number 3.
Yeah. Exactly. I was almost sad that the Patriots, every other Washington fan was so excited. I was like, oh, now this really makes the quarterback conversation
Steve would have to confirm, but I believe that offensive line in the first round is one of the highest success rates.
It is, and that's why I love it.
Quarterback is one of the lowest success rates.
Exactly. And again, I have lived it my whole adult life. Every time we draft a quarterback, it has not worked in the first round. So why do I?
I am with drafting corners.
Yeah, exactly. The Raiders corners have been brutal in the first round. So every time we draft a quarterback in the first round, it never works. And by the way, anytime we've tried a retread or trade, that hasn't worked either. Hence, we haven't had a good quarterback, basically. Besides, maybe this is the whole Kirk Cousins thing all over again. We got Kirk Cousins 4th round. He's the best quarterback I've watched as an adult in Washington. We got Sam Howell in the 5th round. I want to get that diamond in the rough that we were able to pick later, and it just worked out enough. And I know people rag on Cousins, but let's be honest, I'd be happy to take for Cousins at this point. So we're in a quarterback depleted league. To your point about the offensive line, and there's so many reasons scoring's down. We talk about it here each and every week, and quarterback play is one reason. Offensive line play is another big reason. So, I mean, I hope to God that starts to improve so we get some just better offenses to watch. But anyways, those are my thoughts.
Talk about another team.
Yeah.
That could potentially be drafting a quarterback. And it was the news of the world yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago. Russell Wilson.
I know.
Being benched. And they're moving on from that contract. And that's going to cost them a $35 million cap hit.
I was going to say that cap hit is insane. Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but does this mean that Wilson gets $35 million no matter what?
I believe.
And he can just go sign with the veteran minimum. That veteran, so he has no incentive. Do you see what I'm saying? To ask for more than the vet minimum, because the Broncos are going to cover the salary. So it's going to offset. So let's say he got 10 million. That means the Broncos would only pay 25, right? So what incentive would he have to try and negotiate anything but the vet minimum?
Oh, so anything he gets with the new team comes out of the Broncos. Is that what you're saying?
So yeah, let's say he signed for 15, then they'd only owe him 20.
Okay, got it.
So my point is, now you have a guy that, I know he's not an elite guy, but looking at the stats, he's right around 15 or 16th best quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can get that for a vet minimum. How many teams are going to be interested there?
Well, so many teams are needing quarterbacks now, obviously Washington is one of them, but there are so many teams that, as we are here at the end of the season now, that you clearly say either need a quarterback or need quarterback competition. Like Tyler said, at least bring somebody in with Pickett, either they desperately need a quarterback or they need quarterback competition. One of the two.
I'd take Mr. Unlimited in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you would.
We could duct tape his mouth so he
upgrade.
doesn't say anything cringe, but you could play quarterback for us.
Duct tape his mouth.
It'd be a huge upgrade.
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely a huge upgrade from the Three Stooges we got in there. I mean, Mason Rudolph played one good game. Wait till this week. Everyone's going to think he's going to do that again.
You don't think he can do a repeat performance this week?
No.
You're like
he's not playing a banged up defense like the Bengals had last week.
Oh, I mean, and Pickett even got to the Bengals defense a couple weeks prior under the new offensive coordinator.
It's the only defense we've been able to beat.
Exactly. You guys flipped them up
somehow, some way.
And I had Deontay Johnson in all my best ball, and it all went to Pickens. Just so, yeah, sad about the Hal thing, sad about best ball. I broke it down. I'll break it down again in a tweet tomorrow. We'll be having best ball content for the playoff best ball. We'll be doing full recap of the 2023 best ball season on FanSpeak. We'll be doing then starting immediately after Super Bowl 2024 best ball. Still believe in it, even though I didn't get a finals team home. Steve is in the DraftKings, one of the DraftKings finals. So I'll be rooting that on for FanSpeak. But yeah, I am still sad. And boy, did I have so many key pieces let me down this week, or just not able to play yet again. The injuries are crushing. So, but we will recap all of that for sure too. What other good hot topics to talk about?
Well, I want to ask what you think the Broncos are going to do. Like, can they compete? Like, I want to say they can't, but haven't the Browns been able to do that? I mean they're wasting however much.
Well, did you see the whole story about this? This didn't just start this week.
No, but
what you mean the Broncos story
finished this week?
Yeah, they wanted him benched after the Chiefs upset. There was rumors before the season out there that when he showed up, Peyton, he was giving Russ a short leash anyway because he wanted Stidham to be his guy. That's why they gave him $5 million in the offseason to be the backup.
Really?
Yeah. So I think that was the whole thing was like behind closed doors was like, he's somehow keeping us afloat, but please give me a reason to put him on the bench. And then it's like, oh, now we're pretty much eliminated from playoffs.
And then they use the whole injury thing.
We would need Moses to come back to life and part the seas for us to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Guess what? You're going to the bench. My guy's finally coming in.
So you think he wants to see two? Well, I know it's like an injury protection thing on the contract, so that they're not on the hook for anything.
That's the guy who had Stidham last year. Spread. Would you want Stidham back on your team right now?
Yes,
it's better than every guy in your quarterback room.
That's true. Yeah. So you think Peyton wants to see if this could be his guy? Like
I think he thinks Stidham. I think he thinks he's got something there.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
How many backups get $5 million for multiple years? Not coming back to the same team they were on.
Right.
That sounds like to me that there was a plan. Like he was like, I'm gonna point at that just not disgruntled quarterback, but the quarterback no one wants. It's gonna be a backup. Give me him, I'll make him work. We'll get rid of this guy in his big contract later.
Right. Wow. That's crazy. It'll be interesting to see because Stidham did have a couple big games.
I'll see if I can find any of those articles, Megan. I'll send them over to you.
Okay, yeah, definitely. No, I think that the Stidham thing will be interesting. Maybe a little interesting in DFS this week, actually, because for best ball season, it's hysterical that everybody was targeting like tonight's game, the Jets. Hold on one second. The Jets Browns game. Everybody's injured. It's all different players. And then I'm at my parents' house, so there's a landline.
That's like years I've heard that voice.
Yeah. My parents still have a landline. Everybody's targeting the Jets Browns game. It's all different players. Everybody's targeting the Chargers Broncos game. Literally, it's nobody. Like nobody. And now Sutton's out too, the quarterback. So it's just so wild and so funny to think about when what you talk about in the summer and stuff. So no, the Stidham thing will be interesting. It could be interesting for DFS this week. And I mean, to your point, Spread, it's just, they're just could be massively on the hook. And let's see what happens with these Browns too. Cause what is going to happen if like Flacco takes them far? I'm so like enamored with this whole like Flacco, like underdog, Browns story. I'm rooting for him. I hope they clinch the playoffs tonight. I think that's so cool. Could you imagine if Flacco took them far? What would they do? I guess my brother's like,
well, I don't think it's out of the realm of the possibility. They have the best defense in the NFL. Exactly. And every other team has shown some flaws. I think the Baltimore and Miami are pretty solid on both sides of the ball. But they're battling through injuries right now. So they could be vulnerable if they don't stay healthy. And every other team, even if all the way healthy, Chiefs, Bills, Texans, Jaguars, they all have flaws that can be exploited. So, I think
I don't think it's, which is so wild because they've endured so many injuries, Chubb being the most massive. And then Watson still kind of looked like crap, but Watson, and then they've had so many injuries, and then look at them here. And I love it. I love a good underdog story. So I'm totally pulling for the Browns since my Washington team is the third worst team in the NFL. I'll enjoy rooting on an underdog story in the Browns and stuff. So, that's my, I think we could, oh my God, this phone is on my last nerve.
I'm
literally going to throw it. The quarterback stuff is absolutely fascinating. But could you imagine what they do with Watson's contract if like Flacco took him to the Super Bowl? I'm just saying, this is like, these are theoretical situations and I love that this year too, that the NFL has, you've been saying all year, more parity and stuff like that, but like, that we don't know. It's not like just an assumption of, okay, well, this year the Super Bowl's this, like last year, everybody was kind of like, yeah, it's Chiefs Eagles, where this year it's like, you can make cases, I still feel very strongly about the 49ers representing the NFC. You can make cases, but especially in the AFC, boy, you could make a case for a lot of those teams.
So. I heard somebody make a really good point about the Niners, and of course it all comes down to the game flow of this, and you have to be able to get the lead, but the moment you get a lead on that team, they can't run their offense. Their entire offense is predicated off of play actions. When they got to go, all right, we're down by multiple touchdowns, Brock Purdy, go line up and shotgun the rest of the game. Their offense dies.
But do you think it died the other night because when did Trent Williams
He
go
went out late in the third.
Okay, it was late in the third. I mean, because obviously that was a body blow. He's just the key piece.
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. 90% of teams aren't going to be able to hang in the game long enough to grab that lead like Baltimore did, especially after the mistakes early.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can get that lead on that team, it changes everything. They're front runners. When they're not ahead, they panic.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why I think there's no I still do truly like them in the NFC based on who they'd have to get through. And if it does still, I mean, they're going to win this week and they're playing Washington. Yeah. So I still think they're going to have home field advantage. I think it's going to be tough to see anybody unseat them, but I get what you're saying. I
found some notes from Sean Payton's interview after they made the decision.
Yeah.
And it said, he's talking about Stidham. He says, he's a guy I'm anxious to see play. If I didn't feel he gave us a chance to win, we wouldn't be making that move. And he also said Stidham has a significant opportunity over the next 2 weeks, and he's under contract with the Broncos for the next 2 years.
Oh, for the next 2 years?
They're basically saying, go get the starting job.
Okay. Ooh, I feel this could be like a late round best ball quarterback. I feel, come on, Stidham, get that job. I like it. This could be fun. I'm already thinking ahead. I like it. It's an interesting. All right. So, Spread, do you want to talk through games first?
Let's talk through games.
Okay, let's talk through some games.
A game that we thought, we'd be sweating, but unfortunately we're not there, right? But the Detroit Lions do take on the Dallas Cowboys tomorrow night. This line went all the way out to 6. We've seen some buyback right now. On my book, it's at 5.5.
Yeah.
Totals at 53.5. I only have the Cowboys winning by 3. I kind of like Detroit here. I know the huge narrative is, this is the Cowboys bounce back spot. I still think Detroit's got a good enough offense to keep up. So even though the Dallas defense is really good, I think, in the new league, the best offenses can beat the best defenses. I kind of like taking the points here. What do you think, Meg?
I agree with that. And obviously I don't have the skin in the game anymore to even say but I do agree with that. I'm confused why this line's this high, because Detroit still has, correct me if I'm wrong, because now in these last 2 weeks, we're all talking about motivations, right? And playoffs and seeding. And
honestly, Meg, I think that's one of the most overrated angles. How many times are we going to see one team needs to win and the other team doesn't, and the team that needs to win doesn't win? Because guess what? They were 8-8 for a reason.
I mean, how many people backed up the Brinks truck on Seattle last week and they pushed?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Clyde, thank you for joining us. I don't necessarily
buy that as far as motivation. I think what we do need to watch out for is, hey, they're going to sit everyone. But you're right. Detroit has a reason to keep pushing forward here.
They're still seeding. I mean, they could still get the 2 seed. I mean, theoretically, they could still get the 1 seed. They could still get the 2 seed. It's not like just because they clinched the North, they're not playing for anything. I mean,
aren't they all tied again?
They're still, I think they're all tied again. Yeah. Clyde, thank you for joining us. Happy early New Year's to you as well. So yeah, I mean,
not to mention this is the potential playoff opponent. I mean,
yeah, I don't understand why this line's so big. I get it's in Dallas. I get that, you know,
in Dallas's home road splits are ridiculous.
Are ridiculous. Yeah, I get that
in the league.
Yeah, I get the home road splits. So, and I get maybe they're more desperate than Detroit, so to speak. It backs against the wall, whatever. But I don't get why the line's this big at all. So okay. I'm with you.
Well, we seem to agree. What do you think, Tyler? Is 5.5 going to be a play?
I don't think so. I can't get there.
You can't get. Is it just the Dallas at home thing?
Well, not even just that. That of course adds a factor in here. But let's just look back to last week. Brian Flores, your guy, spread. What's he love to do? Blitz. We know Jared Goff cannot deal with the blitz well. I think Dallas has a better defense than the Vikings. They're going to get a lot more pressure in that backfield. A lot of people are going to counter this argument with, well, Detroit's going to run the ball with their 2 running backs. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% sure they're going to get – everyone's going to just flash back to, oh, well, James Cook ran for 200 yards. I'm not as much sure as that's just an outlier against this Dallas defense. You look around, not many other running backs are able to gouge them all year. I think they're going to – Dan Quinn's going to watch that Vikings film, know he's got to pin his ears back and get these pass rushers on Goff, get them pressured, make them force turnovers, which he will do. And the offense for Dallas is going to pick it up at home, I think. I think they'll be able to move the ball through the air. CD's going to carve the secondary up. Ferguson will eat up the linebackers. And Cooks has been good. They've gotten the ball to Tolbert. Turpin's a fast guy, too. I think I'd have to side with Dallas. As long as the injury report, I see 2 offensive linemen for them on there, Zach Martin and Tyrone Smith. If both of those guys are out, I'd probably side with you guys. I think Detroit would squeak one out in the end. They might just win the game outright. If Dallas has got their offensive line intact, I'm on Dallas in this one.
Yeah, we're opposite then because I think Detroit's got a good chance to even win outright, right? If you follow the old rule, don't take the points if you don't think the team can win straight up. I believe they qualify.
I think they could win straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they either win outright or they get absolutely pounded.
Yeah, and that's
your. So is it like the Ravens last week? If I like Detroit, take the money line.
I think so. Yeah,
because you said that about the Ravens, and you were right. You're like, if you like them, take the money line. Yeah, exactly.
16 right now.
I know. We love the Lions and all. They hit that rough spot in the schedule. Goff didn't look good once they started putting pressure on them. They played Denver.
I'm not worried about the offense, Tyler. I'm worried about the defense.
Well, the defense hasn't been good all year. But again,
that's what concerns me.
You look at the Denver game, they won in a quote-unquote blowout where there were multiple calls against Denver that kept them out of the end zone, 2 times? So that's 14 points off the board. They squeaked one out against the Vikings. I know they're 11-4, but I'm not sure they're in the same category as these other teams at the top. They might be the Vikings. They might just be the Vikings from last year. Maybe not as much as the fraud, but
Dallas might just be the Cowboys from every year.
Well, that is Dallas, but this is the regular season we're still talking about, and they're at home.
That's fair.
Yeah, and the at-home regular season has been very, very scary.
Maybe in 3-4 weeks, and this is a playoff matchup, maybe I'll be on the other side.
I think it is. I think there's a good chance that they play this game here, and then they rematch it as a 4-5 in the second round.
Oh, yeah, that could. Wait, they're not going to fall down. They're not going to fall down to 4 because Tampa would.
Tampa's going to hold the 4 seed.
Yes, Tampa. Yeah.
So the 4-5 would be Tampa, Dallas.
Yeah.
And that would lead to. Oh no, I guess not.
It's going to be either Rams or whoever else is the wild card.
Dallas going 4-5. I did a.
They're doing the Stafford heading back to Detroit for the.
Oh yeah.
And then in round 2, Dallas is going to go play the Niners. The Rams, I think they're going to pull off the upset
by San Francisco.
Well, actually, they might luck out because I think you might get lucky and the Rams might upset Detroit with Stafford back in a dome, and Stafford might be going to play San Fran, and the Eagles and Cowboys might be squaring off in the second round.
Wow, those would all be great matchups. Honestly, we're listening. We figured it all out.
That's Dallas's route to the Super Bowl. To be completely honest with you,
yeah.
Because the divisional matchup with the Rams and San Fran in the divisional round could just be like, you blink and it's like, well, Stafford threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns. Kyron ran one in, and they squeaked out a 31-28.
And the Rams always do well against San Francisco.
I was going to say,
they always do well too. So it's like, that could be the spot.
Oh my. I mean, and if you do like playoff basketball, go to Underdog, use code FANSPEAK, get in the playoff basketball streets. Basically, you're doing what Tyler and Spread are doing right now. You're trying to figure out what the matchups are, and that's how you build out your team. Very interesting.
You know what stack I made yesterday, Meg?
What?
Speaking of what you like, the Cleveland stack.
I did my first Cleveland stack last night too. Or 2 nights ago.
Flacco, Jerome Ford, Cooper, and Njoku.
Yep. You get that. It's a cheap little stack to get, and then you can run it back. But love it. I did the 49ers Browns, and then I think I hedged a little bit and got somebody else a little bit of other AFC pieces. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look at. But good value on the Brown stack. That could be fun to miss or play around with. The last thing I'll say on this game about the whole like offensive lineman thing is when Detroit went through that really rough patch, and it was bad. They were missing a couple key offensive linemen.
They're missing Ragnow and one other player whose name I can't think.
They're
healthy. Center and guard, so it was
they were missing the main guy on both sides. Ragnow was out and the defensive tackle was out.
Yeah, but they were missing 2 offensive linemen, I believe.
Yeah, one of the guards, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember. But I mean,
no, Sewell's the tackle, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Sewell's the tackle. But anyways, that offensive line is the top 5 offensive line. When they're healthy, that it runs behind that, which is what Spread talks about all the time, which I 100% agree with. Good offenses start there, and they are healthy.
I also think they got the coaching edge.
What's that?
They got a bit of a coaching edge here too. Ben Johnson and Dan Campbell.
Exactly. Yeah. That's a good little matchup. Ben Johnson versus Dan Campbell, 2 guys vying for head coaching jobs very, very, very soon. So that's going to be a fun one to watch all angles. But I do also like the whole Detroit offensive line is healthy. Dallas offensive line is not healthy. That's another kind of reason to like Detroit.
I mean, I get they definitely got the head coaching advantage, but let's get the 2 mascots out of the way. And Dan Campbell, who's just like the happy, cheerful guy, and Mike McCarthy, who's doing nothing. The real coaching matchup is Ben Johnson and Dan Quinn, the OC versus the DC.
Oh,
that's
definitely.
the one.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. No, absolutely. That's going to be so fun.
I also feel like Dan Campbell's like one of those guys where it's like, this is fun, like on a losing team, but like we're winning now. And it's like, all right, like, we're still like, it still works right now. And then they get in the playoffs and it's like, do something. And it's like,
I don't think he's supposed to do something.
Well, that's going to be the thing. It's going to be when it comes to that moment, it's going to be like, make a decision, coach. And he's going to be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you're completely underrated.
I've never been here before.
Oh my gosh. No. Dan, you know what Dan Campbell does? He makes sure everybody's on time. He makes sure everybody's rowing in the right direction. And he makes sure if you're not listening and learning the technique that your position coaches are trying to teach you, they used to say this, you're going to have an emotional event, right? That's what that type of leadership is. They are going to ream you so hard. It's going to be I had a supervisor at UPS who used to say that. You don't get this done, you are going to have an emotional event. And I feel like that's where Dan Campbell is.
Emotional event.
I don't think Tyler's giving him the credit here. I'd much rather have Dan Campbell lead my team than Mike McCarthy. Pardon?
Has he ever made it to the playoffs and done anything?
No, he coached like 3 years.
This is like
he took over like one of the historically worst franchises in the history of sports.
That's what I mean. This would be so fun. Browns and Lions in the playoffs. Lions.
Can you imagine Browns Lions Super Bowl?
Oh, Browns Lions. That's a dream. That's a dream.
That would do great ratings. They would.
I don't think it matters. The NFL, the Jets and the Browns tonight are going to have.
If it doesn't matter, Spread, then they would have threw the flag in the Rams Saints game a few years ago.
No, Tonight, this Browns and Jets is going to do more ratings than every single NBA game on
We're not talking about the NBA regular season when there's like 6 people that watch it. 2 of them are on this screen.
NFL can't die. People will watch anything. They can put any 2 teams out.
I think people would love an underdog Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think they would too.
I would eat that up. Are you kidding?
What's the total on in that game if they make the Super Bowl?
What's the what?
The total in that game if they make a Super Bowl, like 41?
41.
Yeah.
I think with the Lions, you don't think it would be a little higher? I think it would.
If you go off what the Browns give up.
I was going to say 44.
Right. Because I'm thinking, right, a lot of times they just take, okay, what is this team's offense average? What is this team defense average to give? I mean, this is kind of what I do too.
Yeah.
Okay, meet in the middle. We're going to get close to the line.
Right.
Give me the Rams Bills over that if we're going underdog Super Bowl.
What's up?
Give me Rams Bills if we're going to underdog Super Bowl. Like, let the offenses just pour in.
Yeah, well, that would be more of an offensive Super Bowl. That you're right.
Tyler, coastal elite doesn't want the Midwest to win.
Coastal elite. That's hilarious. All right, what other games do we have to talk about?
Ravens, Dolphins, Meg. I want to take the Ravens. I want to lay the 3. The concerns, of course. Here's my concerns. Number 1, letdown spot for the Ravens coming off arguably their biggest win of the year. Sure. Number 2, they just gave Mike McDaniels the blueprint of how they're going to defend a Shanahan scheme, right? Yeah. McDaniels runs a variation of that Shanahan scheme, so he's got a really good look at what they're going to try and do. I like the Ravens here, but there's reasons for concerns. I don't think it's a slam dunk. Do you think that Baltimore gets it done again, or is this a potential letdown spot? I mean, to be fair, is it a letdown spot for Miami finally being a team over 500 as well?
Yeah.
I love this game, and I like the Ravens. What do you think?
I think it could be a letdown spot for either team. I think you could make a case for either that. I think the news just broke that Waddle is out. So that against that defense, Hill, I think, looked, I didn't get to see that whole game. I was traveling on Christmas Eve, but, obviously Hill is Tyreek Hill, and, he's still going after massive, receiving numbers that he's trying to attain these last couple of games, and obviously wants to, have his team win out. So, I'm not going to discount anything on Tyreek Hill, but now when he doesn't have Waddle, that's going to make that much more difficult against that Ravens defense. So with that makes me like the Ravens a lot more. But I'm guessing that's going to make everybody like the Ravens a lot more. I don't know if Lions are going to move further with the Waddle news. Do you think? I mean, I don't know how much you'd add the Waddle. Waddle would change the line.
Yeah, I think he does. When I'm looking at it right now, let's say we're giving 2 points for the Baltimore home field. You're saying the Baltimore is 1 point better than Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I could argue that they're 2 or 3 points better.
It might not just be Waddle in the end that misses this game, too. I mean, here's a list of guys that didn't practice today.
Okay.
A-Chain, Armstead, Tyreek Hill, Mostert, Jalen Waddle, who's already rolled out, and Robert Hunt. That's a lot of key guys on this team that might.
Well, I think some of those guys, they've been managing Mostert and A-Chain and Hill. And stuff.
The running backs I'm not worried about. And we kind of fell for that trap last week.
But the offense in that Dallas game.
But the offensive lineman, if he's out, oh my God, again, he does.
His injury is listed as knee/ankle/back. So
it doesn't sound good. Yeah. That doesn't sound good
for him.
Perfect rotation talks about no Waddle. It would be huge. He's, obviously can pull defenses away from Hill. Again, I'm not going to take anything away from Tyreek Hill, but I just think that Waddle news is. So I'm leaning towards the Ravens. With all that said, spread, I'm leaning towards the Ravens in this one.
What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's Ravens or pass. My worry would be the letdown.
I'm down to put it in right now.
I mean, let me get my breakdown spread. Calm down.
I'm ready to put it in right now.
But yeah, I think the Ravens should win. It could be a letdown spot. They are coming off a big game where they even said it. They heard in the media that they were going to get pounded in this game. They're like, we come in. You got me laughing in the chat. They come in chest puffed out. I'm almost positive the last time they played this matchup, though, wasn't it the weird outcome where it's like Baltimore ran up the lead, looked like they were going to win the game easily, and then Miami stole the game in the end?
Oh, is that like 44-42 game, like week 2 of last year?
I believe so.
Yeah, that game was insane.
42-38. They stole the game in the fourth as 3-point underdog. I think Baltimore might put it on them in this spot, but I'd wait to watch that injury report throughout the week. That line's not going to go much farther, I don't think.
You don't think? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm on Ravens on this one. All right, what else we got? Spread. Let's talk it through here.
Those are my 2 favorites.
Okay.
What else do I want to ask you about? I don't think we're going to get there, but I am a little bit intrigued by the Bengals catching 7. I know every week, the Chiefs, they're going to bounce back. This and that. My question is, we've talked about how bad this Bengals defense is. Maybe this is the week that everybody's right, and maybe they do bounce back.
I mean, all you got to do is look at what the Steelers did to them.
I was going to say, Mason Rudolph, I know.
Yeah.
I
Now you get a
know.
frustrated Mahomes on the other side.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
He could be thrown to me, and I think he'd win that game by 40.
Tyler, you talk about like beeves and gifts. Did you see the one on Twitter where it's like when Mahomes turns around and sees his weapons, and when he looks up on the and breaks a huddle, and it was like literally a guy turning around for like a first look of his bride, just bawling, crying. It was so good.
I seen that one.
Like look up and be like, no.
I seen the one where it was the scene from Blue Mountain State where he throws the chick the beer and she has no arms and the beer just hits the wall and he's like, "Holy shit, you have no arms!" And they're like, "That's Patrick Mahomes to his wide receivers."
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones for Patrick Mahomes to his receiver. I mean, it's brutal. It's brutal, but we just saw Mason Rudolph and the ghost of George Pickens, who I've bet for 2 years now. And then when I get off of
you're
him,
telling me Mahomes can't hit Rashee Rice for a couple of those this week?
Yeah, exactly. So I see your point spread, but I don't think I can again with the Bengals defense situation.
All right, other ones I'm considering. The Bears are laying 3. They're quietly getting pretty good here, Meg.
Yeah.
Can we fade the Falcons outdoors? Does that make sense?
I just feel like Falcons have them even. I would love to fade the Falcons outdoors. I think, Falcons still with the win last week are, have the motivations and everything too. I know you don't want to, you think that may be a little overrated, but that's where I'd get nervous on that one. They just have so much more to play for. I mean, they're still very much alive for the South. So I'd say no. What about you, Tyler?
I'm down to bet the Bears. Their defense since getting sweat, they've looked really good.
Yeah, I know.
And their secondary, they got a lot of ball hawks in that secondary. So if Heineke's got to put this ball up in the air, I think he can get a lot of interceptions. So I like the Bears here in this spot. I'm with spread.
Okay. I mean,
we can pull a trigger on this one, spread. We ain't got to wait.
All right. Bears -3.
There you go. So wait, you got Bears -3. Do you guys feel like
I don't want to bet Baltimore until like Sunday, like perfect.
Okay, so Ravens is not official play for you yet. What about Lions? Is that official play for you yet or no?
No, I was on the other side of that one. So
that's right. You're on the other side. Okay, so yeah, you guys got the consensus on this one.
All right, Meg, Titans catching 4.5 in Houston. What do you think of that one?
Isn't Stroud supposed to be back this week?
Yeah, he's supposed to be back. It's up to 5.5.
It's now 5.5. Well, that's probably with the Stroud news, right? Positive news and stuff on Stroud.
Isn't that too many points per division game? I mean, isn't this like we talk about Tomlin spots? Doesn't this seem like a Vrabel spot?
I do love
at least
Vrabel.
He gets the cover.
I do love Vrabel.
Right. I mean, does the Texans 3-point win sound that crazy to you?
No.
2-point win, right? Field goal to end it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but I don't know that I'd feel comfortable enough betting it.
Okay.
So it definitely wouldn't be an official play for me, but what else?
My worry would be all the guys that hit the IR last week for Seattle or the Tennessee defense, like Jeffrey Simmons isn't there to plug the middle anymore. We talked about it, like these can't mean many spots because it's like, well, this team has to win, but Houston, if they want any chance at a wild card spot, they can't lose this game, especially they've taken a couple losses with him out. I think he comes back here in this spot. He looks good. His rookie of the year odds dipped all the way to -1,000, and Puka Nacua almost swooped in to try and maybe take that award.
Mm-hmm.
I think he puts the padlock back on that award this week, and they win that game by more than a touchdown.
Okay.
Well, that's what we talked these. Another dog that I want to play, not a surprise. Let me be a homer. Raiders catching 3.5 in Indy. I expect this to be a low-scoring game. 3.5 seems like it would be valuable. Tyler, tell me why you're not going to let me bet this play.
It's in Indy.
Yeah.
So we won there last year, or last time we played there.
That's my only worry. You said it when we did the NBA numbers on Christmas.
Uh-huh.
I said, or the Raiders did. You said, nah, maybe this is our Super Bowl. They went out and won their Super Bowl outright as 10-point underdogs. Yeah. Now they're going to go play again a team that cannot lose this game. That cannot lose this game because
I bet them last week. They lost 29-10 to Atlanta. They're terrible, and Atlanta sucks too.
You got to look at the injury report. We talked about this one on Tuesday. I said that's where I messed up at because if I'd have seen it, I wouldn't have let us pull the trigger. But Their whole entire defense was hurt. Michael Pittman got on the plane and got a concussion once he got up in elevation, so he didn't play.
How do you get concussed by air?
I don't know. He passed concussion protocol, got on the plane, and then when he was up in the air, he showed symptoms again.
Yeah.
So I think I would have to side with the Colts winning the game, but it should be a close one. If it was 3.5, I would say yes, but at 3, I think
I got 3.5, Tyler.
At 3.5, I'd pull the trigger. At 3, I think it pushes.
Yeah, I think I'm playing the 3.5.
Okay.
So
how many points do the Colts have to get before it's like Aiden O'Connell's not catching up?
24.
You're fucking high. Your boy threw for 1 yard in the second half.
I wish I was, actually.
He needs to get to like 14.
Maybe I'll do that before the NBA show. We'll really upset the apple cart today.
Have a time for the NBA show. There you go.
He said 24.
What?
My boy couldn't complete a pass in the second half last week.
It was
24.
Completing passes is overrated, Tyler.
Just give him a leather helmet back here.
Yeah. Here's the favorite I do want to take. How about the Rams?
I was just gonna.
They're gonna spank the Giants.
Yep. I had two that I was gonna ask you right back. It's one of the two that are left. I was gonna say I like the Rams. What are your thoughts on that? So, yep, I agree. Let's just keep it rolling with the Rams. I mean, they should have beat the Saints by more last week.
Take the Rams, take the Browns, and tease them both down.
Yeah.
The Browns are going to win by more than one, and the Rams are going to win outright.
Yeah. That's fair.
Looking at the weather, too, because that was the only thing that worried me with Stafford outdoors. The weather doesn't look bad for New York. 50 degrees and sunny, no wind.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. I love the Rams this week, so I definitely am on that. I would honestly be fine with the 6, or them covering, but
I think they do cover, but I love that teaser this week.
Oh yeah. It's perfect rotation. So he is just dialed right now. I mean, he is locked in.
He's actually moving around very well too. Yeah. Like he's moving up in the pocket, scrambling a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess they said his wife had him playing tennis over the offseason.
Yeah, I heard that in the broadcast. Yeah.
Maybe tennis is the secret thing to unlock stuff, spread.
All right. Well,
if you want to live long, tennis adds more to your lifespan than any other sport.
I mean,
they found like older people that
I don't think football adds to it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, football definitely doesn't. But hey, after Stafford's this season and his wife getting him out on the tennis court, let's get all these guys out on the tennis court for next year. Maybe get the scores up a little bit here, right?
The quarterbacks that can't move, get them out there.
Yeah, get them on the courts.
Imagine Peyton Manning if he'd have played some tennis. He wouldn't have been a statue back there.
It's one more that I wanted to ask you guys about, and I've been backing them. Yeah, they pulled through for us last week. I think you had them on the card. What about Bucks against the Saints?
I was just going to ask you that, Meg. Here's my concern. New Orleans 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 visiting Tampa Bay. Don't the Saints always beat the Buccaneers? Isn't that one of those weird ones?
It is like you talk about.
And like Lattimore does good against Evans. Now is Lattimore playing?
Let me check because he's been
hate each other, right?
Yeah. I think he's done for the year.
Is he? I was just going to ask if he was in or out.
Well, that could be good for your
it just
on IR
touchdown that you play every week.
I play every single week, and it hits for me most weeks. And by the way, quick plug: 7-2 last week on anytime touchdown. So let's roll back this week, and of course, Mike Evans was one of them, of course. So Lattimore, I just looked it up, is not expected to return against the Bucks. Multiple.
Okay, maybe we can play the Bucks.
They need to lock up that South. So
all right. I'll give you the incentive. That's the incentive in this game spread on why we should bet Tampa Bay.
Oh.
If Baker wins this game and locks up the division, they go, here's an extra $1 million. They're locking the division this week.
All right. I just bet that one right now too. Tyler, my next one I want to ask you about is your team. Seattle 5-0 against the spread.
I knew you were going to ask Tyler about that.
Against the Steelers at home. Seahawks at home. What do you think?
I like it. I mean, my worry would be Geno looked like absolute dog shit last week and etched out a win. I was hoping when that game started, watching the first couple drives, I was like, I pray to God they sit this dude and get Drew Lock on the field. They didn't. He was able to sneak out a win. But like the way they match up with us, they're going to be able to run the ball with Walker. He's a tough guy to tackle anyway, and we can't tackle average running backs. DK Metcalf might body slam Joey Porter down the field mid-play because Joey Porter likes to piss off these wide receivers. That's not a guy to piss off. Tyler Lockett's going to run rampant on the other side, and JSN's going to be getting chased around by a guy coming out of the third row. So I think, especially after Pittsburgh, they put up 30. They looked great. It was like, oh, my God, the first time we did that since before COVID. That's terrible. I think it's the spot they go west and they get pounded. So I'm on Seattle.
Okay. I don't know if I see them getting pounded, but I just don't.
If Geno plays just a normal game of football and doesn't look like the bad Geno we've seen, he doesn't got to look like the great Geno we've seen that earned himself the money. Just play average, and I think they can put it on him.
Okay.
Like DK could just catch a slant, run away from this defense, and it's like, well, there's a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, I mean,
Walker breaks through and just runs down the sideline. It's like, oh, Lockett's just picking apart 15-yard chunks at a time. And then if Mason Rudolph regresses back to what made him a third-string quarterback in the first place, that offense ain't putting points on the board.
Yeah, I think it's going to really come down to what Mason Rudolph and that offense can do, and then it just what Seattle team is showing.
Well, let me ask you this, Meg. Just take out last week's Pittsburgh performance.
Okay.
What would you line this game? This is Pittsburgh rolling in. They haven't done anything on offense. Their quarterbacks are they all suck. No one watched Mason Rudolph throw for 300 some yards and so many touchdowns. Pickens house 2 touchdowns on long passes. What's this line?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I think it would actually probably be bigger than it is now. What, like 4.5, 5.5, maybe?
I think it'd be probably right around 5.
Yeah. So, okay, you make a good point. What do
you think, Brad? What would you if people didn't have that last week's Steeler performance to go off of? What's this line?
4. I don't think it moves that much.
I think it does. I think
because both these guys, it's never going to be a huge line because both these guys are so good as dogs.
Yeah. Even
if the Steelers were favored, right? I mean, they wouldn't give Carroll that many points.
Isn't Tomlin's more of like an AFC dog and a divisional dog thing though? Like when he goes out of conference, I think that's where it goes bad. I know when we go to the West,
I just know that Tomlin is a dog is money and Tomlin is a favorite. Is like
ever win on the West Coast.
Really?
I couldn't tell you last time we won a game on the West Coast. Even Charger games where it's like we've went up on the Chargers and it's like we're going to win this game. Somehow, some way they come back in the end and stole it.
I was just going to say, and what's Seattle's record at home this year? Because obviously their win against the Eagles was incredibly impressive, and they have been kind of a tale of two teams. Like some games they just are so flat, and then other games where you underestimate them, like the Eagles, like the Cowboys, where they almost upset, and that was in Dallas. They just, I think overperform. They've either, for me, overperform expectations or underperform expectations. They're never coming in kind of like right where I think they are. It's either way over or way under. So, but I think I don't know what is their home record this year.
I'll look it up right now.
Because
Seattle,
the last home game was obviously amazing.
5-2 at home.
Okay, that's what I thought.
3-1 ATS at home.
Okay. But 5-2 at home, that's a good home.
Pittsburgh's record. 3-3 away, 3-3 ATS on the road.
Okay. All right. Any other games to talk through? And then I want to get your guys, like we've talked them through. What is your favorite one? Like you guys did to make some official plays. We'll get them on the card. Make your all of your official plays. We'll of course get on the NFL betting card on fanspeak.com. Check that out. But spread, what is the favorite one? What's your best bet? What's the one that you feel the
Give me the Chicago Bears -3. That's the one that we all agreed on. And I basically just want to fade Atlanta outside. Since adding Sweat, that Bears defense has been pretty good.
Yeah.
It shows you how much the pass rusher is like a quarterback, where he makes everybody look so much better. And I'm going to continue to fade the Falcons outdoors. I know I got burned trying to fade them last week. Let's see how they do on the road outside.
There you go. All right. Tyler, what is your best bet of these spreads that you're most convicted on?
The ones that we just talked about?
Yeah, I mean, all of it. Like, what is your favorite of all?
My favorite one would definitely be the one spread just gave out, the -3 on the Bears. I think the Bears is a good spot. I also like that Tampa Bay spot at -2.5.
I was going to say that's my favorite.
And you get $1 million incentive in that game if Baker locks that up.
Yeah,
probably he locks up the starting job next year too.
I was going to say, let's talk about like
probably a lot more than $1 million incentive here. Like that's
exactly
what he's going to get handed at the end. So
exactly.
One game I think that I'm going to end up betting that we didn't talk about. I'm taking Stidham in Denver.
Yeah.
In Denver playing the Chargers -3.5.
Good point. Love it.
We watched the dude play one game for the Raiders last year. He looked really good. Sean Payton handpicked him out of free agency. They gave him $5 million a year. He was meant to be the starter for a lot sooner than expected. Russ was able to keep the job for a lot longer than Sean Payton wanted. I think this is the spot where Sean Payton goes, here's the guy I wanted in a quarterback. Here's the playbook I want. Unlock everything. Jerry Jeudy, deep ball touchdown. Sutton's open. Javonte's running wild. And they just beat up
out, but I think Sutton's going to be out. But
it'll just be Jeudy and little Jordan Humphrey just eating them up.
Mims finally got some action.
Yeah, Mims can get some action too. And Stidham can get the ball down the field too, so he'll launch those deep balls.
Yeah. Okay. I like Tampa. Tampa was going to be my favorite of all these. All right. Any totals that you guys are eyeing up? I know you don't force it. Like spread, is your model showing any edge on totals?
All right, let me see what we got. We got 36 tonight on a total of 35. I got 54 on the total of 54 for the Lions game. I'm at 47.5 for the Ravens, so no edge there. I'm pretty close on a lot of these. I'm at 41.5 on the Patriots Bills. I got an over in this Bears game. What do you think of that one, Tyler?
My worry would be weather and if Atlanta's going to get anything on the board because of how good Chicago defense
that would be my concern there too. I have an under in the Raiders game, Tyler. What do you think of
that? What's the number?
43.5
and I have 42.5.
Doesn't that rub you as a game where it's either you click under and you get the 17-7 game and it's like, well, that was easy, or you click under and it's like halfway through the second quarter and it's like, I might as well go find something to make that money back because they're going over.
Yeah, that could happen. I have under in the Texans Titans.
I don't mind that.
Yeah,
divisional game. Stroud first game back.
I think Tennessee plays slow. I'm pretty sure.
Tennessee's going to slow it down.
That's probably the best one we've talked about so far. I have an over in the Jaguars Panthers.
38.
You gotta wait.
Oh yeah, we gotta see on Lawrence Becker. Yeah.
Play.
Yeah,
you got under in the Rams Giants. I don't know if I like that.
I'm maybe a Rams team total, and
I was just gonna say Rams team total. We're locked in there, Tyler.
I'm right around the number for Eagles cards.
I mean, while you're at it, go ahead and do 49ers team total because that's always a give me against Washington.
I'm actually terrified for what CMC is going to do your defense, man.
Oh my God. I know. I saw your tweet about
watched what Breece Hall did. You watched what who's the guy before that? Kyron Williams.
Yep. And it's a full-blown pattern with running back. Well, receivers and running backs, but running backs, a dynamic running back. Oh man. Yeah. Look out. So yeah, those people that push CMC teams through in best ball, that was the first round pick you wanted. You're looking really good this week.
Is he going to be number one next year?
Yeah.
Is it going to go CMC 1, Hill 2?
Usually does go after the last year, I think so. Yeah.
And then what? Jefferson's got to be 3. I mean, he can't go that far down because
everybody will want to see what the quarterback situation is in Minnesota, but as long as it's not horribly bad, I would say Jefferson 3.
CeeDee Lamb and AJ Brown are going to make a case for that spot.
Yeah, I was going to say
AJ Brown's not.
I mean, I know he's tiered off towards the end, but you look at those early game logs. I mean, people are going to look at that. If they think Philly's offense bounces back, that's the guy. Third in receiving yards. The only guys behind is Hill and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
All right, we'll get any official plays, but you guys like the team total on who did you say team total on?
49ers, Rams, and we like the under on the Texans, Titans.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get all official plays up on the sheet, but yeah, I like that a lot. Props, why don't we'll leave that. We'll get that up on the sheet later. Why don't, and in the interest of time, I do have family obligations to still visiting family over the holidays here. But we will get back to a normal schedule next week, we promise, including the NBA show on Tuesday. And of course, this show regularly scheduled at 3:00 next week. So definitely look for that. But again, don't you worry. We'll have that NFL betting card updated later today with Thursday night picks, get all these official plays all up, any other official plays all up for Sunday, all our Sunday card. Get some Saturday goodness up for that Detroit-Dallas game. So it'll all be there. But let's round out 2 quick fun things. Let's each do an anytime touchdown because we've been rocking the anytime touchdowns. And then let's each do a first touchdown for tonight. How about that? Is that a good way to end the show?
Fantastic.
I'd love to be able to talk to.
I heard first touchdown for tonight, and it was an anytime touchdown for tonight.
No, and let's do anytime touchdown for the week for the Sunday for the 17 slate. Let's do that first, and then we'll end it with a first touchdown, and then everything else will be on the card. So, spread, go to you. We usually go to you first on the touchdown scores. Who do you like for anytime touchdown?
Christian. No, I'm just kidding. Give out the -350, right? Next thing I'll give out the Lakers money line on NBA rundown.
Give out 3 touchdowns. What's 3 touchdowns?
He was -425 on DK, and I went and looked at his 2 touchdowns. It's +120.
Isn't that hysterical? Yeah. I mean, that's got to be one of the lowest. Like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious. But warranted. Absolutely warranted. Okay, go ahead, spread. Who is your favorite anytime touchdown this week?
Let's go to Saturday's game, Meg.
That's what I was going to do, but go ahead. I'm not going to do.
I don't think we're taking the same guy because I think you're going to take ASB. But I'm going to say DM me. Give me David Montgomery to get in the end zone there. That's my anytime touchdown for this weekend.
I like it. I like that a lot. Actually, I was thinking about both those. So you read my mind perfectly, Tyler. I'll go to you. Who is your favorite anytime touchdown this week?
That's a tough one. Just looking through this, I think I'm going to go to the team we talked about. I'm going to go to Philly. AJ Brown -110.
Okay, yeah. I mean, getting that. I like that. Eagles, yeah, you're going against the Cardinals. Yeah, we didn't even really talk about that game, get to talk about that game much. I was going to do ASB. I've had him on the card a lot. He's been getting, I think he's scored touchdowns, like I believe the last 3 weeks in a row. I'm just going to go back to to the Dolphins. And I think that they are going to still put up points. It may be a Ravens win, but you're getting both Tyreek Hill and Raheem Mostert at +100. That in a chain is literally, your options there. Mostert's been a safe bet, but give me Tyreek Hill +100, and I do like Mostert as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I like targeting those games, the Miami-Baltimore game, the Dallas-Detroit game, of course, targeting teams like 49ers, Rams, Eagles makes a ton of sense. So, okay, now let's go to first touchdown for tonight. Of course, tonight we've got the Jets at the Browns. The Browns can clinch a wild card second. I think I read second playoff appearance since 2002. That's just wild. And yeah, so I'm rooting for the Browns to lock up their second playoff appearance in over 20 years tonight. And I think they do it. So who do you have spread as getting in the end zone first tonight?
David Njoku. He's been Flacco's favorite target by far.
I like that.
And it's fairly easy. I know it's kind of a safe pick, but hey, let's have some fun with it. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points scored. Not a reason to go crazy here. I mean, this one might not cash till 2-minute warning in the first half.
You think that late that we see a score?
This Jets defense, we talked about the Browns defense. Yeah. This Jets defense is pretty good as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't think it's that crazy that these teams start slow, and knowing that points will be at a premium, I think it also encourages the coaches to be more conservative. So I don't think there's going to be a lot of 4th and 4s where they're going for it. I think they'll be quite content to punt and not be the team that makes the first mistake.
Okay. All right. I like that. Tyler, what do you got for first touchdown for tonight?
Let's have some fun. It's a primetime game. What's dominated primetime games all year, Meg?
Defense. You've done defensive touchdowns, right?
Browns 25-1.
Right.
Geez, are you on FanDuel? I'm on DK, and it says
it's 25-1 on FanDuel.
Okay, definitely go to FanDuel on that.
Actually, bet them both, because if for some stupid reason it ends up being like a punt return touchdown,
that's why
you at least get the 18-1 home to where FanDuel only listed as Cleveland's defense.
Thank you. Yeah, very good point. I was wondering why there was such a massive difference there.
That's where they try and get you at with those, but
yeah,
give you the better number. But as insurance, bet the 18-1 also. Have a bet their anytime touchdown, because they're going in tonight. Jets offense is absolutely terrible. They're going to come in chest puffed out after last week, where it's like, oh, we looked good and we almost blew it, but we won in the end. So, and strip sack to the house to start the game.
Ooh, to start the game. He's calling it. I like it. Well, I'm taking Browns too. I'm going to just go right back to the well with Amari Cooper. Joe Flacco, he's questionable, but I think all signs are pointing that he's playing. I think they win tonight. They get a long rest, and then maybe they even just rest him next week for the playoffs then. So I think Amari Cooper plays, and I think he gets in the end zone first. So we're all going Browns. Give me Amari Cooper. He's, I believe, the same as Njoku on DraftKings. He's at 750. Wait, who was your guys' anytime touchdown again? Yours was Montgomery spread, and who was yours, Tyler?
AJ Brown.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm gonna get those up on the sheet after this. All right, final thoughts, guys, and then we are gonna get out of here. Again, sorry for the abbreviated version. Everything will be up on the NFL betting card tonight, Saturday, Sunday. Check that out. Spread, final thoughts for Week 17.
I hope everybody has a good New Year, and we're gonna cash some of these tickets.
All right, I like it. Tyler, any final thoughts for the Week 17 slate?
I think it's going to be a fun one. I think we should lock in that teaser we talked about too, Rams-Browns for tonight. I think that's a nice bet for this week.
Yep.
And I think we identified some winners, so lock in those bets and let's make some money.
All right, let's make some money. Let's start this New Year's off right. Thank you guys for joining us. And yeah, we'll see you. I guess we'll see you next year. But no, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.